Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Anonymous Code. We are here with Oz doing a little bit more information gathering, but of course, it's a back and forth sort of situation, and we're at the part where we have to start explaining some things over to Oz, of which he probably won't believe because he didn't really believe it the first time around. But now we can probably go into a little bit of depth. We can probably explain a little bit more as to what happened, because yeah, there was quite a bit that happened with this whole plane crash avoidance situation that we had going on for that quest. And speaking of the quest from Cicada 3301, we're gonna have to embark on more. How many more? I have no idea, but he doesn't know if we're the one that he's looking for, if Pollon is the special candidate for whatever here. I mean, I'm pretty sure he is. I mean, he's the only one that could have solved the situation there, as I've said a few times already, but whatever. I guess we'll have that to look forward to. More quests. Oh, and Momo decided that she'll go off on her own. So, yeah, not sure how I feel about all that, because we all know that she's in danger from some strange-looking goons from the Holy Office of 513 or whatever it is. Basically the group that's controlling the Vatican from the shadows. But anyways, back onto this. The math quiz had thrown me for a loop. Oh yeah, we also got a little bit of a math quiz, which I got a comment kind of explaining how that all went, which I get it. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but when you're looking at it, man, that shit was definitely a 50-50 in my opinion. And I will hold on to that, even so I'm probably very wrong. So I spent a moment to recover and began talking. No, no, we have to keep going with it because it's true. I explained it all step by step. I told them how the first time I noticed the app was at the airport. I said I had no idea what it was, but I tried loading and reset the world. Yep, and it played out exactly the same way as it had in the first time around, but a little disjointed, but yeah, he was expected at the same time, and he showed up at the same time. I capped the load screen and sent it to Oz's device. That's a good question, because it's like it doesn't even exist here with us. Yeah, and we can also, like, if we, are acting as the super hacker that put that on his device and all that, then we can kind of communicate with Pollon here by that. And we've kind of done this little bit of communication with him before by pulling up the screen without him, I guess, doing it himself. It's more that he requested it and we threw it up for him. It's not something that he can necessarily pull up. Well, I guess he could. But yeah, it's something interesting to think about. We're kind of in the position of somebody that's overseeing him, which in a way we are. I mean, we're the viewer, we're the player, we're the reader, whatever you want to call ourselves. Hahaha. Ain't that cool? We all know Anonymous. Anonymous as a word, anonymous as a name. Unnamed, nameless, incognito, anon, often used for users who don't assume a name while posting on online image boards. I mean, we've all heard of the term, we've all heard of the name. Yeah, like this. Yes, kinda. Like, we're the ones that, like, Pollon figured it out, but it is by us utilizing this loading ability that he was able to put the pieces together.
死刑だやジュノレベルの実力者に違いないわ。一体どんな方程式を使ってるのかしら。
Oh yeah, speaking of Juno, let's talk about her. She was so excited it was kind of scary. Oz was strangely silent though.
お前の話を聞いて一人思い当たる名前がある。
Huh?
ジョン・タイター。
Oh my god. Here we go. John Titor. In November of 2000, a time traveler claiming to be from the year 2036 appeared on a US online forum, and this caused quite a stir on the internet, with lots of people flooding to the forums with questions and arguments. He named himself John Titor, and posted partial pictures of his time machine, its operation manual, and schematics. This self-proclaimed future person talked about what would happen in the near future, and time travel physics and interference with history, the multiverse, many worlds, timelines, and world lines. And then 4 months after his first appearance, he posted that he had completed his mission and would be returning to his era, after which he was never heard from again. So we all know the story here with John Titor. It's Suzuha from Steins Gate. But how we know a lot about her in Steins Gate is actually coming to the year 2010, and, well, her time machine is a piece of shit in comparison to, well, this story here. And so we get back to the Beta World line, and we're back to this piece of history. So John Titor is a real, person, quote unquote. I remember watching it was some sort of video on YouTube that talked about it, because it was a real situation that popped up. I don't know if it was the year 2000, but yeah, I mean, this is a real story to an extent. And it was a pretty interesting video. I do hope I can find it again, but I'm sure that if you look up anything regarding John Titor online, you'll come across something that'll tell you about the real world history with this quote unquote character. Also, another thing is that a lot of people like to call him John Titor. I think that is how his name is pronounced in the English dub for Steins Gate. However, everybody here, including how Oz just said it, is John Titor. So that is how I always have said it in Steins Gate, and that is how I will continue to say it.
John Titor?
Yeah, see, told you. Oh, cool, he's doing the Googling for us. I ran a search and instantly found something. Year 2000, year 2036, urban legend, world line, and time traveler.
都市伝説かよ。
Haha, yeah. Apparently he was a time traveler that appeared in the year 2000.
その類の話にしてはかなり具体的で説得力があった。奴の理論で考えるならお前は世界線を移動してるな。
I don't know if we are though, because we're not at converging points, and we're not like Okabe where like we can just jump between world lines like that, where we carry on over to a completely different world. That whole situation, and we've seen the effects of it, it's more than just one thing being different. So let us read the tip here on world lines. Though the term refers to infinite possible worlds, the worlds don't actually exist in parallel, with there only ever being one world line. All that ever happened, is happening, or will happen in one world line is observed and set in stone. Because of this, no matter how hard you try to change the past of a world line, it will always converge upon the same results. However, that is not at all what's happening here.
なんだよ、世界線って。
I am happy that we are talking about this though. It is all very confusing with all these terminologies.
過去改変は親殺しの
God
パラ
damn
ドッ
it,
クス
more
が
tips.
問題になるが、世界線の理論なら辻褄が合う。
Okay, I'm sure we all know what this is. We've all read a time travel story or watched a movie with time travel or something before. A famous time travel paradox that questions what would happen if a time traveler were to kill one of their own ancestors, before they'd given birth to their parents or themselves. If the ancestor died, the time traveler wouldn't be born, preventing the ancestor from dying, which would in turn allow the ancestor to create the time traveler who would go back in time and kill them, and so on. The cycle would repeat without end. You guys ever watch that Futurama episode where they go back in time and Fry kills his grandfather, but he actually ends up becoming his own grandfather? by doing the do with his grandmother at the time. So yeah, it's a little weird, a little bit of a looped incest there.
私たちの記憶も含めてね。
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it worked with Okabe. As he jumped with these world lines, there were some situations where I really wondered, yeah, other world lines have to be running in some sort of tandem, but they weren't. They really weren't. It's just Okabe was kind of like an observer. Whichever one that he was in was the world line that was active and was actually moving forward. But there are effects from other world lines that do take place. And I think it was Linear Bounded Phenogram that had a really good example of this. It was really freaky.
あのさ、なんか難しく言ってるけど。
ほとんどの場合、予定の範囲内に収まるの。
It's kind of like how back in Steins Gate, no matter what Okabe did, he could not prevent the death of his childhood friend Mayuri. It's just something that was fated to happen no matter what world line he was in. He had to get over from the Alpha world line to the Beta world line, where things were just so different that she would actually still be alive, no matter what. But in turn, we had somebody else that was then fated to die.
運命みたいなものね。
That made it sound kind of like that fate line thing that Momo had mentioned.
あんた、
That's something that I had brought up. I had jokingly said, Steins Gate?
専門分野じゃないだろ。
これは友人からの受け売りよ。脳科学者の牧瀬クリス
Oh, there we go.
名前くらいは聞いたことあるでしょ。
I mean, she has to be, like, stupidly famous at this point, right? I searched her, and seeing AI in the results reminded me that I had seen the name in some article, and it was about her Amadeus system project. So, I didn't get spoiled necessarily, but I did see Kirisu's photo here, which looks like her Amadeus photo from Steins Gate 0, pop up in conjunction with searching up anonymous code. I do have a feeling that, yeah, or I did have a feeling Amadeus was in existence to some extent, probably a little different from Steins Gate 0 here.
ねえ、前に持ってきたダイバージェンスメーターはある？
Oh, wait, we got one
ポロン君
here?
に見せてあげたいんだけど。
その棚の上だな。のんの取れるか。
楽勝ノーベル賞
Oh, it's all coming together, boys and girls. Nono extended her machine arm and retrieved a weird-looking gadget. Oh, this is a little different. I liked how its display was a mix of both analog and digital.
表示が変ね。
Is it?
あ、でも変化の感知には特殊な才能が必要らしいから、私たちには気づけないかも。
Yeah, if this is all coming from Kirisu, this completely makes sense. You do need a special talent, because you'd be observing the change. You would actually be in the middle of the jump. World lines, huh? I didn't know if they had anything to do with my loading, but it sounded interesting. I'm glad that this is coming up, though, because obviously, you know, us coming from Steins Gate, this is the one thing that we're going to immediately think of. Anything time travel, we're going to immediately connect to whatever we know from Steins Gate. It just
ジョン・
makes
サイ
sense.
ターは2036年にタイムマシンを使ってた。お前が隠し持ってたとしても不思議じゃねえってことだ。
都市伝説の話はもういいって。ムムー読みすぎだろ。
Mumu, huh? What's that? What do we got here? It's an occult magazine first issued in 1979. It covers topics such as UFOs, cryptids, superpowers, the super scientific, and conspiracy theories. Despite the modern dominance of the digital, it continues to be released on paper. Really? Huh. Well, there we go. One of the shelves was neatly packed with Mumu mags printed out, excuse me, printed on actual paper. I almost died there. Yeah, you guys have no idea. This must have been why he had no trouble believing Momo.
タイムマシン以外の意見をくれ
Oh,
よ。
by the way, I am still, like, very slightly under the weather, but I am recovering now, so I can't really use my sickness as an excuse for being dumb when I read.
そうね。
So back to the old
遅延
usual.
選択実験のことは知ってる？
The what?
いや、どんな実験なんだ？
量子物理学の話で二重スリット実験の一種なの。ミクロの世界の物理現象を解明するためのものね。二重スリット実験の予習から始めてみましょうか。
Oh no.
1961年に初めて行われた興味深い実験よ。
What is this?
まずは私たちの日常である古典物理学の世界を想像してね。
Okay.
目の前に2つのスリットが入った板があるとして、そこに向かってボールを1球ずつ投げたとき、奥の板にはどんな跡がつくと思う？
Wait, throw balls at it one by one.
スリットに沿った跡がつくだろ。
Wait, what are we? Oh, we're actually just gonna perform the action here.
大正解。
Okay, you know what? I think I've heard of this before. I think I've heard of this. Okay.
じゃあ、
When
ボー
did
ルを
we
波
end up
に
in
した
this
ら
room, by the way? I just want to point out the obvious.
電子銃よ。
Right,
私
so
たちは
therefore it's not
電子
dangerous.
を一個ずつ
Cool.
打ち出すためにそれを用意したの。あなたも使ってみて。
え、ボールと同じじゃないのか。
Yeah, wait,
形状
what's
は似て
happening
るの
here?
に不思議よね。
どうなってんだ。
Yeah, what is happening here?
干渉島じゃなくてボールと同じ跡になってる。
ほんと不思議よね。
They have to be observed in order for them to go through? No, that can't be right.
検
That's
出装
silly.
置から変な電波でも出てたのか。検出っていう行動自体が
No
影響したのか。
No, that's silly.
大正解。
No.
観測という行為が電子の振る舞いを変えさせたの。遅延選択実験の話に入りましょう。
Alright, I'm ready for it. Let's go. If the detector is off, the electrons behave like waves. Then what if we activate the detector as soon as the waves pass through the slits?
粒になった。
That's so weird.
そう見えるけど正確には違う。
なんだよこれ。
Yeah, I am completely lost here. 100% do not know what the fuck is happening anymore.
過去を変えたってのか。
This is beyond me. I mean, I see that there is a connection with the whole idea here that what we were just talking about
ってわけ。
in terms of like changing the timeline, if you will, but I don't know, just like this whole deal here is just it's a bit much.
面白いでしょ。
No.
俺のアプリも似たような原理だと思うか。
あくまで可能性の一つね。
What a really weird
こういう
observation.
不思議な話はたくさんあるのよ。量子もつれとか、速度が時間を遅らせるとかね。
Yeah, and apparently they're beyond me, but let's read about them. So relativity is, well, according to the theory of special relativity, as you approach the speed of light, the flow of time approaches zero. This means that nothing moving at the speed of light is subjected to the flow of time. This strange phenomenon is called time dilation. And then quantum entanglement. Fundamental particles such as electrons and photons can have an upwards and downwards spin simultaneously. This state is called a superposition, which continues until something observes it, making it collapse into having either an upwards or downward spin. Quantum entanglement requires either two electrons or photons in a superposition, and entanglement is the relationship between the two that causes the two particles to always assume the opposite spin. The entangled particles have a strong mutual relationship. If for some reason, or for example, one of them has an upward spin, well, the other will instantly assume a downward spin. This relationship doesn't change no matter the distance between them. The moment one of them is observed, the other state is already set. One of the discoverers of quantum entanglement was Einstein himself, and this phenomenon debunked his own claims that information could not travel faster than light. If anybody wants to like TLDR all this shit in the comments, that would be super cool. I felt like everything I knew was crumbling apart. I had no idea the world was so weird.
この宇宙は138億年分の奇跡の結晶だ。500万年程度しか生きてない人間が理解できるはずもねえ。
そりゃそうかもしれないけど。
文明が起こって1万年ぐらいしか経ってない割には検討してるじゃない。地球シミュレータだってあるわけだし。
地球を再現できると思うなんて人間の傲慢だ。 命ってのはそんな単純なもんじゃねえんだよ。
Yeah, it really isn't. And that's why, like, the whole idea that of having these Earth simulators, especially what we've seen out of the Gaia, I mean, that shit is just nuts. It's hard to comprehend.
またそんなこと言って。
There's just so much.
たまには人類を褒めてくれてもいいんじゃない？
うるせえ。
We had talked some more, and although I had heard some wild shit, that's just putting it lightly, our chat did not turn out very productive. That's alright. I mean, we got to meet a very interesting person that drew some obvious connections to Steins Gate that I knew that at some point just had to be drawn, but yeah, crazy stuff. Science, bitch. It ain't for me. And it looks like we're following Momo. I guess it was because it was a holiday, but there were a bunch of families and couples out enjoying themselves. Seeing the smiles on their faces, I felt at peace somehow. A few days had passed since I left Nakano Symphonies. I had been worried about where to hide out, but surprisingly, there was no shortage of places I could stay. The city had some unmanned hotels without any employees, so I was able to get by just fine staying at those. It was strange seeing machines doing the laundry and cleaning up, but I was spared from any suspicion. It was actually pretty comfortable. But I had no luck with the most pressing issue, the search for Cicada 3301. I didn't have much on him to begin with, and the quests were my only lead, so I wasn't really expecting to get anywhere. That was why I...
Omatase?
Huh. Interesting. What the fuck? Asked the police for help.
倉科さん、すみません、わざわざ。あ、今日私服なのはふざけてるからじゃないよ。密会なら制服じゃまずいと思って着替えてきたの。
Well, honestly, it's more weird for me seeing her like this. I mean, it was weird seeing those three characters the way they were in the first place, and knowing that they've got these dual occupations going on that have no connection whatsoever, or at least in my opinion. But seeing her just dressed normal in street clothes, it's just... Huh, it's weird.
雰囲気が違いますね。子供っぽいでしょ？
Yeah, kinda.
今はアイドルの真似事みたいな仕事してるんだけど。
Yeah, I don't know.
そうだったんですね。
She's a self-proclaimed idol while also being a police officer.
今は警察に本気だよ。
Just because, like, the idol-only route didn't work out.
警察官に憧れて全力で目指したから。バンビさん、そのかっこいいと思います。
I don't.
仕事に一生懸命なこと、すごく伝わってきます。ありがとうね。
I mean, yeah, I can agree there. I'm sure she's actually very serious about the police job and, you know, justice and whatever else, but yeah, it's all just a little weird in the end with the whole dual occupation thing.
ところでさ、はい、ももちゃんは服どこで買ってるの？それかわいいよね。
Speaking of clothes, I do have to admit, her looking the way that she does now, and not, you know, in police officer mode and all that, like, she doesn't seem all that bad as a character, just at a glance.
これはポロンさんに連れて行ってもらった。
So impressions on, you know, what people are wearing and how they're acting initially really do say a lot.
いえ、あの子って彼氏？
Nope.
もう別れました。え？そうなんだ。まあ、デリカシーなさそうだからな。
I mean, not on purpose,
ポ
though.
ロンさんは
He's
すご
just,
くいい人で
he's
した
a little inexperienced. That's all it is.
ああ、頭がこんがらがってきた。
I know she's also just trying to cheer her up and, like, be supportive and all that.
そろそろ本題に入りませんか？ああ、うん。そうだね。
Miss Bambi came closer, probably to make sure no one heard us.
ケイダのこと、何かつかめましたか？実は、全然。
Yeah, I don't think anybody is going to hear from them for a while until that next quest actually does pop up.
彼と接触する手段はクエストか。それはダメだって。ももちゃんを狙ってる人たちに見つかっちゃうかもしれないでしょ？
Oh, 100%. They're already on their way here, aren't they?
うちで保護するから危ないことはしないで。保護はダメです。 じ答え。どうしてそこまで頑張るの？それは。
Oh?
私の使命だからです。
Uh-huh.
私とか他の人には任せられない？
Nope, it has to be her. She has to be the one that saves the world here. It also could probably be like a vengeance sort of thing. She has to do it for those that she lost along the way. There was no way I could leave it to someone else. Everyone wanted me to complete my mission.
じゃあこれ持って行って。
She handed me a nylon pouch with 3 folded up devices inside.
これは非力な警察官のために作られた設置式スタンガンってところ。
Why couldn't we have just said it was a stun gun from the start then?
使い方は説明書を読んでみて。
I get that it's a little bit more complicated, but
きっと助けにな
still.
ると思う。他にも困ったことがあったら相談して。サイバー対策課はあなたの味方だからね。ありがとうございます。
Yeah, I would see them as allies, despite, you know, the idol claps being just a little weird, you know, but that's just them. Yeah, what is up with this scene here? A long time ago, we bore witness to a miracle, a true miracle.
すごいよ。
Yeah, this is
様に選ばれ
quite
たなん
long
て。
ago, methinks.
3人ならできる気がする。
じゃあ私も頑張ってみる。
Yeah, something tells me that these two aren't around anymore. As long as Francisco and Jacinto were with me, well, if the 3 of us were together, we could save the world. I believe that with all my heart. Shortly afterwards, Francisco caught the disease that was going around and passed away. And then Jacinta...
ルシア。
Okay, we've seen this scene before. Okay, it's all coming together here in the memories.
会えた。ねえ。具合はどう？わかんない。ずっと痛くて。
I guess this is one of those old-fashioned just diseases going around because, you
怖
know,
い夢も。
science and technology and medical and all that were so shit back then, and
ヤシンタは
also
助かるよ。
everybody was very unsanitary.
こんなに辛い手術を耐えたんだから。絶対に大丈夫。すぐにまた元気に。
Unless this really isn't that long ago, it just looks like it.
私を置いていかないで。
Oh, I don't think she can say something anymore. I think she's gone. I felt like it was my fault. I had told them that we had to save the world together and make them take on more than they could bear.
私のせいだ。私のせいで。
And therefore, she's going to feel like, well, now she has to take on the responsibility of 3 people. She must definitely pull through for their sake. And because I guess she's blaming herself. Overcome with pain and regret, I wept. And that's where my memories trailed off. How long ago was this? That looked like from that little...
我々は
Oh,
敗北するだろう。
okay.
心配することはない。遠い
Getting
未来、
some
人
historical
類は
moments
究極
here.
の変化を遂げる。その時、
Some good, some
今の
bad.
意味での人類は存在し
And
な
I
いの
guess we
だ。ケネ
don't
ディ
get
大統領
to hear whatever is being talked about here.
一人の人間にとっては
What is
小さな
that
一歩
moment
だ
down in the bottom? And I guess that moment now at the top
偉大
here.
な飛躍だ。
アレシボ電波望遠鏡
And
の
what
回
is
送記念
that
式典
moment
で
right
宇
there?
宙へメッセージが送信されました。
ノスト
I
ラ
mean,
ダム
okay,
スは
those
恐
first
怖
3
の
were
太
like
陽が来る
really
って言って
easy,
るんだ
but
よ。
what are these?
Thank you.
I hope it's not important, whatever
ご
they're
覧く
saying.
ださい。
Okay, I literally grabbed nothing off of that. Cool. Cool. What is this? The next thing I knew, I was in water. I was surrounded by a strange water in which I could breathe. This was probably the future. Okay, yeah, that was most definitely in the fucking past. That notion must have come to me because I had been dreaming for so long. Within the dream, I saw an age beyond that which I had known, and learned many things I couldn't have imagined. My body had also changed. I had grown a bit since the time my memories faded
か
out.
つて我らは世界のエントロピーを増大させ、フェイトラインからそれた。そして、サッドモーニングを引き起こしてしまった。
There we go with that fate line shit.
その原因は、
And what did you
地
say
球
about
シ
the
ミュレータ
sad
ーで
morning?
再現した
ファティマのこの DNA データを人工脳へ移植したこと。
Huh?
そして今朝、その人工脳が受肉した。これは明らかに異常事態だ。
The man pointed at me. My DNA data, as recreated by their Earth simulator, had been transplanted into an artificial brain. And that brain obtained a body, but I retained all the memories of my past, so what was I?
もう一度映像を確認したい。
再生します。
The large monitor played a video. It showed this room with a red revolving light shining on it. Someone's crying was echoing throughout. 3 coffin-like devices were connected to the QCDC Necro Pilgrimage. A man ran up to one of them and opened it.
これって
Oh, we've seen this before, I think? Maybe? That looks familiar. No, why? Why has this happened again? Inside the device were Francisco's remains and...
脈がない。こっちも死んでいる。
The other device contained those of Jacinta.
どうしてこんなところに人間の死体があるんですか。おい、こっちは生きてるぞ。泣いてたのはこいつだ。装置から運び出す。手を貸せ。
It was my fault. They had died again because of me. I must have been cursed. Why else would those closest to me die twice? I think they were already dead. This is just something extra, man.
フランシスコとヤシンタの遺体はやはり 3D プリンタの出力に似ているな。
ええ。出力時に一部でもズレが生じると、あのように不自然な断面ができますからね。
Was this the woman that was standing before that one guy that like is supposedly like really tall and carries a big ass cross?
悪魔による妨害が入ったか。
I am so fucking lost, guys. What the hell?
ごめんね。2人とも私のせいで苦しめて、2度も命を奪って。
I don't know if it's really her fault, except for, I guess, just pushing everybody to complete their goals. I had lost Francisco in 1919 and Jacinta in 1920, and then after a long dream I lost them again. And the manner of their deaths felt so horribly wrong. If I hadn't pushed them so hard when we heard Lady Mary's prophecies, things wouldn't have turned out this way. And the people of the anti-fate faction as well, they sacrificed their lives so I could escape the Vatican. Though I couldn't stand to bring pain to the people around me, I still longed to fulfill the prophecy. That was why Yeah, it's making more and more sense why she completely refuses the help of others, and why she was really adamant on continuing to go it alone. And yeah, I mean, at first I was like, oh, it's because she lost people along the way of getting over here, but no, that shit goes deeper. Yeah, I don't think you can, though. Let's be real and honest with ourselves for once here. I don't think that's how it's gonna go down. We are making a lot of fucking saves here. We haven't used any of them. 2 weeks had passed since I was doxxed. I mean, it's good we're saving, I guess. Symphony had become my new home. Oh, hold on, we got news. China GDP over 20 times greater than Japan's as growth continues to stagnate in 2037. And it was actually pretty comfortable once I got myself a toothbrush and a pillow and stuff. I was worried about bathing and laundry, but I kinda enjoyed visiting bathhouses and laundromats for the first time. I had been living on restaurant and convenience store food anyway, so it was barely a downgrade. I was just about to grab breakfast, actually.
正しく決済されませんでした。
Unsuccessful.
残額や設定をご確認の上、もう一度試してください。
What did we do? Someone was stuck at the auto checkout by the exit, so it wasn't us. Cool. This was a completely unmanned convenience store without a single employee. If some kind bystander didn't help, well, this would continue forever. It was probably some senior citizen who didn't know much about electronic money or digital assets. That'll be me one day. We're getting to that point. So it's a new term for virtual currency. Virtual currency refers to currency exchanged exclusively using digital data. Unlike fiat currency, it is rarely regulated by anything like countries or central banks, primarily traded on the internet. With the 2020 revision of Japan's Funds Settlement Act, virtual currency was renamed to digital assets to further differentiate it from fiat currency. Okay. We've all heard of NFTs and crypto, right?
もうなんでダメなの？
ってお前かよ。
ポロタン？ポロタンはノンノの王子様だからノンノのピンチに駆けつけてくれたの？
Not really, but I guess we are here, so we ought to help.
朝飯を買いに来ただけだ。決済はどこで引っかかってる？
フェイリス号でエラーが起きてるみたい。
Oh, what?
サーバーからデータ引き出せないって。
Alright, let's read on that one. It's always something coming up. It's a biometric verification system that instantly checks both the user's face and iris. Due to its precision, security, and speed, it is the most trusted of all such systems present in 2037. It is used while making electronic payments, logging into social media, performing security checks, and many other similar scenarios. Thanks, Apple. Really leading the way here. She had her Ferris Go linked to PIQTOS, huh? It was standard these days to store your personal info on the BMI-based PIQTOS servers, and then link it to all kinds of apps. Ferris Go got popular because registering personal info with every app was a hassle. Any problem with the server would be a major issue, though. If the servers so much as got hacked, well, all the linked services would be impacted. That was why I registered my personal data with each service separately. It looked like Nono was with the normies on this, though. Well, I couldn't blame her. This was the default settings, so I guess she just rolled with it. Unlinking wasn't exactly simple either.
直してやるから。言った通りに操作しろ。
I took her to the edge of the store and explained what to do.
登録終わったよ。
それで決済できるはずだ。試してみろ。
Remember, gang, never put all your eggs in one basket. Holding a can of cocoa, she slowly approached the exit. This time, the payment went through just fine, and Nono strutted right out of there, and I grabbed the milk donut I wanted and joined her outside. Luckily, we didn't have any
エラーが
issues.
出たの初めてだったからびっくりしちゃった。
多分一時的な通信障害だろうな。
Sexy mathematician Lydia is gonna have her second photo shoot. Is this the Miss Lyd that you said you met? Yes, it is, Wind. It really is. PIQTOS was a browser OS that tons of devices used. Its worldwide share was over 90%. It had servers all over the world, and they were well maintained, so the issue must have been pretty minor.
教えてもらったやり方、学校のみんなにも教えちゃおうっと。
お、中野の学校か？俺と同じとこかもな。大園第二だったんだ。
ノンノはホタショウ。
ホタショウ？聞いたことないな。
ホタルが丘学園。小黒坂にあるんだよ。
Well, no doubt here, she's most definitely a child. It's just that she is just above and beyond for a child. I'm really curious about her character, along with many others.
ノンノはオンラインで授業を受けてるから、ほとんどは行かないけど。
Why are we looking it up?
うわ、私立じゃん。
So I guess Nono was a high-class little lady.
おっさんのところに居候してるって聞いたけど、親は地方なのか？オンラインなら地元にいても大丈夫だろう。
Yeah, what is your backstory here?
お父さんもお母さんも死んじゃったんだ。サッドモーニングに巻き込まれちゃって。
Yeah, I sort of worried. I was thinking in my head, if she said died, there's probably one exact scenario where they died.
お前も被害者だったのか。
She was just like me. Well, maybe not exactly like me. I wasn't too broken up about losing my dad.
だからお父さんとお母さんの友達だったオズが引き取ってくれたの。
Nono's smile was tinged with sadness. She looked down at the can of cocoa that she was holding. It came with a plastic case, at the top with Pow 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 Pa written on it.
おまけ開けちゃおっと。
Nono energetically removed the case to look inside at the bonus gift.
ぎゃー半端じゃない。
What is it?
待ってろ。俺が当ててやる。
I rushed off to the convenience store and bought another can and then handed it to Nono so she could open it. There was a tanuki-like figurine inside.
なんだ？ハズレか？
しいのパオパだけなの。
Who had even thought of random bonuses? What a cruel world.
やばいやばい、大ニュース。
Oh no. Is it what I think it is? Well, I guess we'll find out in the next episode because I'm fucking tired. My throat is just killing me right now. Sorry guys, I'm just not the throat goat I need to be to record for a long period of time. This is really killing me. But yeah, I'm not really sure what to say in this episode. A lot of it was just information. It was pretty chill to an extent, but a lot of things were being thrown around. From what we started with all the science, to what we moved on to with Momo's past, and it runs pretty fucking far deep. It goes way back, which makes sense. I mean, if we're bringing up something that is from the early 1900s, and she's supposedly one of the characters from that shit, the Fatima stuff, then yeah, she had to have been from way back then. It's the only way it makes sense. But she was able to be preserved and brought up to the future, 100 years into the future, if you will. So that's a pretty interesting situation that we have on our hands here. Especially since we did learn in robotics notes that it is possible for, somebody to, be brought to the future through some sort of scientific method. In that case, it was cold sleep. But here, it looked to be a little different. Very different, especially since her two friends didn't exactly make it. Then again, they were dead already, so not really sure what happened there. And those guys, they brought up Sad Morning. I wonder why. There's some sort of connection there with Sad Morning. There's a whole bunch of shit going on, and my brain just cannot take it. Oh well. Thank you all for watching this episode. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take it easy.